Welcome to another edition of A New Day in the Word. Let me read to you the passage that we discussed on Sunday at New Day Fellowship. It's found in Mark chapter 4, beginning with verse 35 and going through verse 41. That day when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." Do you ever feel like the disciples? You're in the midst of a difficult time in life. The storm is raging around you. Waves are breaking over, about to sink you, and you wonder, does Jesus even care? Well, I want you to remember this one truth: that the existence of storms in your life does not indicate that God does not care or that he does not exist. But we have to ask ourselves, why do we have to sometimes go through the storms before we reach the calm? So why did Jesus wait? Why didn't the moment that the storm cropped up or the waves started hitting the boat, why didn't Jesus wake up and just calm the storm? Well, I think there's several reasons that Jesus waited to calm the storm on that day. And one of those is this: he was testing the disciples' faith. They had seen his miracles before, they had heard his words of love and compassion and forgiveness, and yet here they were in a time of need, and they doubted. And so Jesus said to them in verse 40, he says, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" In other words, with all the time that you've been around me and all that you've seen me do, why do you still doubt? Why do you not trust me? Well, so when we're going through our storms, we need to remember what God has done for us in the past and realize that he's going to do it in the future. And even if it sometimes requires us to wait for a while in the storm, we must pass the test of faith. Secondly, Jesus was waiting to see if they would look to him rather than relying upon their own strength and devices. I mean, they could have started bailing faster. They could have relied upon their sailing skills. They could have tried tying themselves to the other boats that were out there in the lake on that day. But he wanted to see if they would look to him for help, which they did. So they kind of passed part of that test. But when they did look to him, they looked to him in fear and doubt. When you're in the midst of the storm, you do not need to be afraid. You can trust Jesus in the midst of the storm. So look to him. Don't rely upon your own strength, but look to him for the answers, because he is the one that calms the storms. And he wants us not to be self reliant, but reliant upon him. And then I think the third reason is that Jesus waited because he wanted to display his power and his glory. You notice that once Jesus calmed the storm, they asked themselves, "Who is this that even the wind and the waves obey him?" Well, who Jesus is he's the Son of God. He's God incarnate. He's the Lord of all creation. He is the storm killer, so you can rely upon him. Trust him in the midst of the storm. Well, hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in again. And we discuss these things in much more depth on Sunday morning at New Day Fellowship, every Sunday morning, 10:30, 115 North Fayette Street at Branch Creek Place. So join us as we grow together in the Lord. And also, don't forget to check out our Facebook page and our website for how you can register for the Walk for Freedom that we are organizing on October 14th to help bring awareness to the travesty, the evil that is human trafficking in the world. We hope you'll register and join us for the walk. All right, I'll see you next time.